So we are going to be modifying our home controller. So let me go back to the Solution Explorer, and we're going to open up the home controller. And we're going to make this match what we have in the book. So the first couple changes that we make, I am going to have you guys manually type, and then I am going to let you do some copying and pasting. All right, so in our home controller at this point, all we have is an index action method. And we do want to connect this to the table and database that we just created. So we're going to create a private context, movie context object. And we are going to create a constructor. And we're going to pass that, oops, if I can spell, a movie context object. And then we're going to set the private context object equal to the one that we passed the constructor. And the reason that we're doing that is in order to access our table, we need to have a context object. Now, what we want to send to the index is basically a listing of movies. So we're going to create a variable called movies, and it is going to store the listing of movies that we retrieve from the database. So we're going to use our context object to access our table. And we're using a little link query. Order by will sort. And we're going to sort by the name of the movie. And, and we're going to create a list. So that little sorted list that we've retrieved from our table is going to go into the movies variable that we just created. And it's that movies variable that we're going to pass on to the view. So that is what we needed to do in our home controller. And now we need to go into our home index view because at this point, we are passing it a listing of movies. And it is not ready to accept them. So at the very top, we're going to add a new line. And we're going to indicate we are getting a list of movies. Okay, and that should be connecting to our movie entity, which is right here. And then pretty much the rest of this below what we have in ViewBag, including the title here. I'm going to change it to My Movies. And everything below it is going to change. So I'm going to pause while I key all of this in. So you'll notice we have a little heading, and then right below the heading, we have a link that's going to go to something we have not created yet. It's going to go to a movie controller and an add action method. Then we've got a table that we've specified. We've got a heading section, and those should look very familiar because these are the headings that we have, or they correspond to the properties in our movie table. Then down here in the body, this is all of the remaining rows. We are using 4 each because, I mean, we know there's 3 rows, but there could be 20 or 30. So 4 each is going to process every single row. We are connecting this to our model, and then we've got .name as the property, .year, .rating. It's going to retrieve that data from the actual table and place it into these cells. And then on the right, so we're going to have data in the first 3 columns. In the 4th column, we're actually going to have an edit link. Okay, so that's going to go to the movie controller, which we haven't created yet, and edit. And then you'll also notice that we have a second link going to the movie controller and the delete action method. So we're basically going to have an edit and a delete command. Now at this point, we can save everything and we can run the application. But if we try to use the links to add, edit, and delete, obviously they're not going to work because we have not created a movie controller yet. But just to see what this looks like, so here we go. So here's our little table. It retrieved the data from the database, and we have our links that are not going to work yet. So what we're going to do next is actually add the code to make those links work. And this is the code I'm going to provide. So we're going to create a new movie controller. So let's add a controller. And we're going to go ahead and do an empty one because we're going to code it up. And the name of this is movie controller. And in HandsOn6, if you select the movie controller link, you will see all of this code. And we are simply going to copy and paste. And what you're seeing in this controller is link commands. And the next video is actually going to walk through and explain what they do. For right now, we're just going to finish. We're going to create the views for this controller, and then we're going to run the app and make sure it works. So down here under views, at this point, we do not have a movie folder, and we need one. So we're going to create the movie folder. And remember, the convention is to use the controller name without the word controller. So we're just calling it movie. And there's 2 views that we need to add. The first one, they're both going to be empty. The first one is going to be called edit. And in this edit view, I am providing the code for that as well, HandsOn6. This list should look familiar to you. You can see that we have the at model movie, so we can connect it. Then, it's creating a title, which we're displaying here. Then we've got the tag helpers. And this should look very familiar because we're basically going to be displaying the name, the year, the rating. This particular view we can use to change or add data. So I'm going to copy everything. And we're just going to paste it right over the top. And now we also need a delete. So again, this is going to be empty. And I am providing the data for this as well, HandsOn6. Not a whole lot here. So you can just see that we've connected it to the model. All it's really doing is displaying the name. And then there is a delete button, basically. You can see that we have the primary key hidden, which you need that primary key in order to do the deletion, or Entity Framework needs it. And here you can see that we have a delete button. We also have a cancel button in case they change their mind. If they cancel, they go to the home controller index action method. So let's copy that and paste it right over the top. So let's do a save. We're going to save everything and we're going to run this. And now we are going to be able to add, we're going to be able to edit, and we will also be able to delete. So I'm going to go ahead and add a movie. I have no idea what year this came out, so I'm making it up. It's probably earlier than that. And here it is. So when I did the add, I'll add another one. It's actually using the edit view for this. Making this up, guys. All right, so once you have verified that you can add, now we're going to edit. Okay, and it should have made that change. And now I'm going to delete. Okay, so I have verified that my CRUD functions are working. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. And the next video, we are going to take a look at that movie controller so you understand all of the different commands that are in there.